Welcome back to my kitchen. A couple of videos ago, I mentioned that I had eggs I needed to use. And then I went out of town. And I still have those eggs that need to be used. So we are going to be making the crustless quiche that I mentioned. And so first we need to preheat the oven. And I'm going to show you some tips for high protein crustless quiche. Hello, my name is Annie, and welcome to my kitchen again, where we have a cook and chat, and I'm going to share a recipe with you. So let's get the oven preheated to 375. All right, and I'm going to move the glass pie dish because you don't necessarily want the cookware that's going into the oven to be preheated on the stovetop. I also need to look inside the oven and make sure that the rack position is in the middle of the oven so that when we go to put everything in, it's where it should be. Okay, so about those eggs. These have been sitting around a bit. It says the expiration is best by today's date, June 10th. But I bought them a while ago. So I'm going to show you also an old farm trick, if you don't know about this, about how to tell when your eggs are still good. So I have a little cup here. I'm going to put some water in it. All right, so you take each egg one at a time. Oh, I hope I don't have too much water in there. And you place it in the cup of water. If it stays on the bottom, then the egg is still good. If it floats to the top, you gotta throw it away. And it's okay if it's standing up on its end. It doesn't have to lay down to indicate that it's still good. And typically, eggs, I mean, depending on the brand, but eggs can be good for up to 3 weeks usually after the date on the packaging. But I always like to check. There was a moment in time years ago when I lived on a ranch, and all the animals, and that was good times. Um, there wasn't general electricity like we have, in regular homes. There was an old tractor generator out in a shed, and it was well water, and we had to watch the flag on the water tank to see if there was enough water to do what we wanted to do. So let me know in the comments if you ever want to hear some of those stories. All right, we're doing pretty good so far. I just wanted to check because I hadn't actually had eggs in the fridge for a while because we know like what the prices were. But these went on sale. This dozen eggs, the brown eggs, and I was able to pick these up. Okay, We're doing good. All right. So we're going to be using 6 eggs. So let me get a bowl just to put them out. The other, so let me tell you, so you can use 6 eggs, which I'm doing, or you could use like 3 eggs and then like egg equivalent, like liquid egg or egg whites for another 3 eggs. But I don't have any of that. So I'm just going to use the 6 eggs. And then the other 6 eggs I'm going to use for another recipe I'm going to be sharing on here um, with some eggs and chorizo. So that'll be coming up. So let me get a bowl for the ones we're going to use. All right. Oh, before I crack these open, let me get rid of this glass of water. So if you saw my last video where I wasn't at home, I'm working on that video about flying fat and traveling broke. Can be a lot of good tips. I used to travel a lot, and it's been a while since I've traveled. Um, but the same things, same concepts still apply. And about where to sit on the plane, all those kinds of things. So I don't know if that video or this video is going to be out first because I'm working on them both at the same time. So if that one's already out, go check it out on the channel page. And if it's not out yet and you want to know about when that comes out, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if you turn on the little notification bell, then you'll know when that one comes out. All right, let's get rid of this mess. All right, we're going to put the eggs away. We need some Greek yogurt and some butter. We'll need some cheese, but not yet. I'm going to show you another trick for adding more protein to a crustless quiche. So I have here, this is just some sliced deli turkey. And I can't do nitrates and nitrates, all those things. Which is not a GLP-1 thing. I've just always been like very sensitive to that. So I get this when it's on sale. And this is a whole package, 8 ounces. And I think it was on sale for like $3.99. It was a really good deal because this will last a while. But what I'm getting at is that we line the pie plate with the sliced turkey, and then we bake this so it makes kind of like a turkey meat shell. I know that sounds weird, but it's like a turkey meat shell. And then we let it cool a little bit so that when we put the egg mixture and the broccoli and stuff into it for baking, it doesn't get like soggy on the bottom. It adds protein instead of a pastry crust. And it also adds flavor because this is an applewood smoked turkey breast. All right, so out of this 8 ounces, I'm going to take probably about half of it. It's sliced pretty thin, so let's see how many of these slices can we fit on here. So we want it actually, I don't know, this might actually, we might need some more, which is fine because more protein, better. But we just want to line it up around the edges. And then we're going to put some on the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting a little base here. Oh yeah, we're going to need some more. So this was almost a new package. I probably used, oh, I don't know, a couple slices out of it earlier for something else. So, yeah. Well, okay. We got a couple slices left. All right, so this is what it looks like. I know it looks a little weird. And we're waiting for our oven to preheat so that we can just put this in there for, it's 375 degrees for about 15 minutes, just until it gets like crispy, so that it makes a nice like crust kind of texture uh, before adding the liquid on top. So while this is preheating, I'm going to put this aside and then we're going to do stuff with the eggs. And put the turkey away. Oh yeah. And the other thing, um, I have a frozen broccoli cuts. Um, so if you have an onion or a shallot, um, you can cook that up in a pan and add whether it's frozen broccoli or fresh broccoli, and then drain it. I don't have an onion or shallot. I'll be adding onion powder to make up for that. Put that out. But on the flip side, this is a steam fresh bag, which means we could just throw it in the microwave, drain it. You know, we're all about the shortcuts here. Okay, this side up, microwave 4 to 5 minutes. All right, I'm going to do it on the lower end, the 4 minutes. Oh, good. Our oven just beeped for the crust to enter that, put that in the oven. But I'm going to do this for the 4 minutes because We don't want it to end up like mush, you know, after it's been also cooked in the oven. Okay. And now that the oven is beeped, we have this on the middle rack inside the oven. So put that in there. I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. Okay. So now with the eggs, I should have got a deeper bowl. All right, we'll make this work. You want to kind of scramble them up. Now, typically you would add like heavy cream or evaporated milk, something to, you know, kind of bind it together and make it fluffy. But I don't have milk or cream or evaporated milk. But I do have Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt. And so we're going to use that instead. So we want to make sure that the egg is really well blended. Okay. So I'm going to add in the onion powder, a whole bunch, since we didn't have onion to actually put in here. And it can be good to put a little bit of nutmeg, but I don't have any of that. But the other thing I like to add is some ground mustard seed. Gives it just a little bit of kick. If you're adventurous, you could add cayenne pepper or crushed red pepper, which I used to do, but I find on the GLP&1 that the chunks of the red pepper seem to affect like my digestive tract. So instead, we're just going to go with some black pepper. I like black pepper. And some salt. It's recommended about a half a teaspoon of salt, but I typically only use like a quarter of a teaspoon. I don't like things overly salty. And there is some sodium in the Greek yogurt as well. So all right, get that all blended. Oh, you know what else I have though? Give it a little extra something. Trader Joe's multi-purpose umami. So it has a little bit of like white pepper. Doesn't take much. It has a little bit of kick to it. And other spices in there. Because the worst thing is like a bland quiche, right? Yeah. Alright. That's looking pretty well blended. Okay. While that sits for a second, we're going to drain our broccoli. I'm just going to put this in a colander. All right, so the broccoli is draining, but some of these chunks in here are too big. So I'm just going to take the scissors and chop up some of these. Cooking hack. If you have kitchen scissors, put them to use. And then you don't have a cutting board to clean. All right, that's looking better. They're much smaller pieces now. I'm going to set this aside. All right, I think I need a deeper bowl because I'm going to be adding Greek yogurt to this egg mixture, and it's already full in this bowl. So I'm going to transfer that. Now, typically, if you're using heavy cream or evaporated milk, you would use about a cup and a half or so. As you could tell, I don't measure much. But I'm not going to use like probably that much with the Greek yogurt, maybe a cup, only because it's already so thick. And we want this, to still, cook like quiche-like, right? So it's fluffy and not too dense. Just want to make sure this is whisked all together, really well blended. Not a lot of lumps and things. Okay, so that's looking pretty creamy. Okay, get this out of here. Oh, I had taken out butter. Whoops. Oh yeah, we're gonna need some cheese. I just have a cheese blend that's gonna go in here. You can use whatever cheese. People swear by, what is it? Gruyere cheese because it melts really well. Swiss does too. But I find that when I get the blend, like really the really finely shredded blend, a little goes a long way for one. And for two, it still melts really nicely because it's so finely shredded. So you don't have to necessarily buy like the more expensive cheese for that, nice meltiness. Okay, so we're gonna need those. The turkey crust still has 5 more minutes in the oven. And I will be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay, the timer went off for the turkey crust, so let's see how that's doing. All right, so one of the things about the type of meat you use is it's going to depend a lot on the water content. So apparently this turkey has a high water content because it's not crispy yet. I'm going to show you. And I can still see a little bit of liquid in here. So I'm going to add this back to the oven for, I don't know, maybe about 7 minutes or so. We don't want it like crispy, burnt, stuck to the pie plate because it's going to be cooking even more once we add everything into it. Um, but I do want to make sure that there isn't any like liquid hanging around in the bottom of this pie pan. All right, so we're going to put this back in. And we're going to set the timer for just about half that time, 7 minutes. And then we'll be back to check on it again. Whew, steamy. Whew, goodness. Okay. Well, it has done the water evaporation, but these had so much water in them that it also kind of shriveled up the pieces, but they do look nice and crispy. So I think that's going to work in our favor. Just moving them around a little bit. I'll show you what we're working with here. Okay, so you can see they kind of curled. Reminds me of my childhood when my parents used to cook bologna and it would turn into like a little bubble thing. Okay, so we're going to let this sit for just a minute and actually move this off of the stove. We want it to cool down just a touch because when we add the egg and the Greek yogurt, we don't want it to start like curdling right away because then it'll be lumpy and weird. So we'll let that sit for a minute. Now, to cook the quiche, it's at 325 degrees. So we need to turn down the oven anyway because the turkey was at 375. So we need to get that down to the right temperature. So a couple things about this recipe. After it is cooked, um, of course you can, slice it and have a piece. But then as far as storing it, because this will make like 6 pretty good slices. That pan it's a deep dish pan, which is why I used 6 eggs. Um, and then it could be covered in plastic wrap, put in the fridge, and then when you want a slice, you could just pop it in the microwave for like a minute. This is also something that you could make ahead, and after the whole thing is cooked, um, and you take it out and you let it cool, you could cover it with the plastic wrap and freeze it. I would recommend cutting the slices though before you freeze it. And then if you wanted to reheat the whole thing, you would just put foil over the top instead of the plastic wrap. Put it in the oven, for 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. You might want to let it set out in the fridge, I don't know, for maybe half a day or something. Just get rid of some of the frozenness of it. And then you would have a whole quiche that you could then serve to somebody or somebody's. um, but for one person, which is what I do here, I will likely um, keep it in the fridge, and then after a couple of days, um, put the slices that are remaining into a container into the freezer, and then I just have them to pop into the microwave whenever I need that. So let's check on how this is doing over here and bring it back to the stove top. All right, so it's still warm, but it's not scorching. Um, Broccoli goes next. So we just take that broccoli that we cooked and cut into small pieces. Add that on top, kind of evenly. Kind of keep it on the turkey in the center. Okay, and then add the cheese. There, let me see if I can move this closer for y'all to see. Oh, I guess not. All right, we'll just do it this way. So now we have the broccoli on top. Just add a little sprinkle of cheese. I don't go crazy with the cheese because, you know, on a GLP-1, cheese could be one of those things that can stop you up. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right. Just a little bit of creaminess in there. Okay. Then we have our egg and Greek yogurt, which, here, let me point you down a little bit to the pan. There we go. All right. And so with this, we just want to cover all the broccoli and cheese. Okay. And we're going to pop this in the oven for, sorry, my hand. We're going to pop this in the oven for about an hour. We're going to check it, see how the egg is doing, test it. As you can see, it's pretty full, but the egg is going to expand as it cooks. And then it might need, I don't know, another 10 minutes sometimes. Yeah, so I'll check in with you then. All right, it's been an hour. So let's do a little knife test. Let me show you. See if this comes out clean. Oh yeah, nice. All right, turn off the oven. We're gonna let that sit for a little bit before we cut it up. And I'll show you what those slices look like. And what else? Oh, um, yeah, I guess I should do a check-in. You're coming back from traveling. So I came back Sunday from my trip and stepped on the scale Monday because I always do it like in the morning, you know, before eating anything and all of that. So I was up 2 pounds, so I was at 251, and I have one word for that, and that is inflammation. While I was away, I did so much walking. Um, and when I came back, like I could feel the inflammation and like my feet were swollen from doing so much walking because typically my days are pretty sedentary. So the other inflammation issue was I was traveling only with carry-on, and I ended up pulling a muscle on the left side of my back, which is still, it still bothers me, but it's not nearly like what it was when I came back. So I think like the retention, the fluid retention, the inflammation is really the cause of that scale number. I don't think it's like a weight gain per se because I mean I was only gone for a few days. I didn't gain 2 pounds in a few days. I didn't go crazy on the food or anything. I seriously think it is like my body holding on to fluid. Plus altitude, flying. I wore compression socks, and you'll see more about that in the travel video that I do. But yeah, it's I I I think that that is what made the scale go up. So that's what I'm going with. I'll show you in that video. I'll show you some of the things like I was eating, and there was nothing crazy. So um, anyway, so let's cut up some quiche. It's been sitting for a minute while I've been blabbering, and I'll show you a slice of this. Let me get a plate. Righty. Do a little taste test. Looks good. And of course, I mean, as always, on the end screen, I will have the cost for this and also the calories and the protein so that you can decide if this is something, that might suit you. All right, let me get a fork. Let's see how gracefully this goes. Oh yeah, not too bad. It's pretty solid. Nice. All right. So see, you can see all the layers. This little crispy bits. This is the turkey crust. so to speak. We've got the broccoli and the cheese. Let's take a taste. Mm, mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Ooh, hot. Very tasty. Highly recommend. You can use other vegetables. You can do the thing where, like, I microwave the broccoli, but if you have a bunch of veggies, you can like cook them up in a pan, drain them, add those. I mean, it's really whatever. Also, it doesn't have to be turkey that you line the pie plate with. Maybe you have like some deli ham instead or whatever. Yeah, it's so versatile. So yeah, I think that's it right now. I'm so glad that you stayed to the end, joined us here for this feast, and feel free to comment if you have a like a quiche kind of a recipe that you like, um, or if you have other ideas for meal prep for solo chefs, quote unquote chefs. Um, yeah, and otherwise, I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.